don't know about that. See,
that hurts.
that is what we would call in our neck of the woods country.
Yeah, real country.
I remember moving with my dad's side of the family, and a lot of them would walk outside barefoot. And I'd be looking at y'all like, you're not scared a worm gonna go in your foot?
It was the heat for me.
I couldn't do.
Hop in that grass real quick.
Now, children are the only ones that I support that. And I'm not saying I don't support y'all. Do what y'all want to do. But because children need that sensory.
Oh yeah,
you know?
I feel like.
But,
I feel like.
Me, I'm.
Like, yeah, you gotta go see a child who don't want to touch grass.
Right.
That is funny. I'm talking about feet and all. I'm talking about something like, yeah.
Yes, but even in the airport, when you have to go through the security checks and you have to take off your shoes, baby, look, can I have a sock or something?
What's good, y'all? It's the Demouchet REACT, and we're back with another video. Who we got today, C?
Today we're back with another American reaction.
Let's get it.
Super excited about this video. If you're new to us
and we're new to you,
make sure you scroll down,
hit that subscribe button,
and turn on the post notification bell
because we're on the road to 200K.
And we cannot get there without you guys, alright? Join the family. Without further ado, let's get into the video.
Let's get it.
Australians love their sport, but unless you're from Australia, sometimes the sport is a little bit strange. For example, football isn't football. And I'm not really talking about soccer, or am I? It really freaks me out to say the word soccer. For me, I know what football is. And for Australians, they also know what football is. But when you move to Australia, just resign yourself to the fact that you're now probably going to follow the minority sport. And also need a special subscription just to be able to watch it. Football in Australia can mean many things. Football for me means soccer, but football in Queensland means rugby league. And if you come from one of the southern states like Victoria or South Australia, then football can mean AFL. And I still don't understand how that game works, but I want to learn. You can still have a beer at an AFL game, right? But if you come from the UK like me, and you still want to watch your beloved football, then you're going to have to become a social hermit, bound to the wee hours of the night, just to watch your darling Premier League. If you don't like it, then take up one of the other many forms of football. And if you're American, well, they also kind of play baseball and stuff too, but probably not your form of football. It'd be like too hot in all the pads and stuff. Imagine getting a spider in your helmet. The second shock that we had coming from the antisocial rest of the world is the fact that in Australia, people are actually friendly to you. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, people are friendly in other parts of the world, but Australians are kind of like this weird level of friendly. People greet you on the street. Neighbours come up to your house and welcome you to the neighbourhood. People actually offer you help. Now for me, being the antisocial hermit that I am watching my Premier League, people being friendly to me was a little bit weird and it just took a little bit of getting used to. But when it happens to you in Australia, it really does make you realise how nice the world can be. Now hey, you're going to think to yourself, people around the world are nice, and lots of them are. And you normally notice it when you're on holiday. Maybe it's the weather that makes people happier. Because I can tell you that the dreary darkness of winter kind of makes people the opposite.
Keep doing your thing, Australia, making people believe there's good people in the world. Yes. And it's right there in Australia.
Y'all sounded real southern.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, y'all are southern, but you know, like us.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Southern hospitality.
The hospitality that comes, it's a bonus feature with the human structure. Wait, why that sounded so robotic?
I don't know.
Honest, this is one of the best culture shocks of Australia. Calling all social recluses out there. If you move to Australia, it's going to make you a better person. No one wants your social awkwardness or unfriendly banter. Australians are genuinely friendly, unless they don't like you. But there's no beating around the bush. It's totally straight. Now, coming from the northern hemisphere on the other side of the world, having a cold Christmas becomes a rite of passage. But here, cold Christmases? Welcome to the heat, my friend. Christmas in summer. It's hot. Really hot. If you don't have aircon, you're gonna struggle. It's not...
You know, at one point we dealt with hot Christmases. And then one day I woke up and it's like, oh, first white Christmas.
Climate change.
Yeah. And I think it's been like that now for, no, teeter-totter.
Yeah, it's been like every other year.
Yeah.
dark. You and your family aren't just confined to one room, watching each other open presents you probably didn't even want. Wishing that the TV was on so that you wouldn't have to make awkward conversation with family members who you hardly ever see apart from the festive time. Wondering to yourself, is it too early to start drinking yet? The fact is that with Christmas in Australia, you get to take all of the good bits of Christmas, like presents, and spending time with family that you actually want to spend time with. And then add all the good things of summer, like going to the beach, spending time in the pool, having a barbecue in the sunshine. Don't hang on to your old traditions of Christmas, like your roast turkey with all of the trimmings. I mean, do hang on to them, but don't whinge that you're doing it in the heat. Have a barbecue instead. Savour the wonder that is a potato bake. Why did we not have these in England? Or if we did, I never had one. They're gorgeous. Make new traditions and embrace the fact that Christmas in summer is now your new life. Now, coming from cosmopolitan Europe, I was kind of used to this next one because people on the continent sometimes like to have a siesta. But at least they opened up the shops and stuff again. Now, I know that this can catch out the average Brit visiting Marbella for the first time and wondering why in the middle of the day all the shops are shut. But in Australia, it goes to another extreme and shops just shut early. Want to get a coffee after 4 p.m? Yeah, nah. Don't be crazy. Why would you need that much caffeine in your system at night? It's going to go dark in a couple of hours. Want a takeaway after 9 p.m? On a Friday? Well, you better live in the city centre. Ain't no one going to work after 9 p.m. in the burbs. You crazy? Unless you're in the major cities.
Well, what time do y'all open?
Because I sure do like my little midnight snacks.
Right.
My quick orders.
Right, because we have some stores that don't close.
At all.
Now, there are some stores that, ever since the pandemic, they didn't go back to the normal hours, which was 24 hours.
Yeah.
We need that back.
They're still on crutches.
Okay.
They limping. They getting along. Just don't get no bow. You know what I'm saying? We ride past and they closing.
Right.
Not used to this.
No.
At all.
But they done changed the culture.
And
Seems like forever.
And I feel like a lot of people still saying, when is it they going to get back to 24 hours?
Right, because we ready to do the grocery shopping that night.
I guess they got spoiled.
I think so.
Things in Australia are rarely 24 hours. People have a life. They don't want to sit there waiting in a restaurant or a shop for your convenience. Don't be so selfish. Why aren't things so convenient? Well, it turns out people don't actually want to work all the time. And you need to respect that. Get a bit more organised.
That's what it is.
Enjoy a night in. Realise that that thing you think you need, you probably don't need right now. I'm sorry that the shop's shut early, but if you don't have that thing you want right now, is the world going to end? Probably not. And if it was that important, you wouldn't have forgotten it, right? And this culture shock extends into the next one. And it's the work culture. And weirdly enough, most Australians don't like to work. I mean, they do. They do like to work. That's a massively sweeping statement. But fortunately for people who live here, we don't live to work. Working to live is an incredibly emancipating feeling. What's the point in going to work all day to earn money to then not have the time to spend it? I don't want to live a life like that, do you? Especially when you have all of this fantastic weather and beautiful scenery to spend it in. Except when it's a La Nina year. Like, the scenery's still there, but the weather's still a bit crap. And it has been for the last 2 years.
That's y'all answer for a lot of people who be like, what is y'all doing? I'm talking about the ones who don't got a job, but y'all always on vacation. They just say, you know what, I'm done. Whatever I'm making, I'm going out and enjoying my life. I don't got time to keep living until I get a little bit of money to finally do something. They actually doing stuff with the money they get because they work for it. That's how they doing, really. Yeah,
that's why you got to move to a place that will suit your lifestyle better.
Man, working to live.
Yeah. It makes
most Australians, this less...
Go ahead, baby, do you that?
It make it look like we're just factory workers here.
I heard somebody say that like we still living in the 60s.
Yeah. That's what it seems like.
Yeah, factory workers.
One day change will happen.
Oh, wow.
One day.
Yeah.
Fair attitude to work extends to lots of different industries. If you're sick of the daily grind in your job, then come to Australia and you can do the same thing but not work as hard. Wouldn't we all want to just do that? But sometimes this incredibly laid back nature can lend itself to some slightly weird / potentially unsafe habits. Barefoot in public? That one takes a little bit of getting used to. Especially living up here in the sunshine state of Queensland, seeing people go barefoot in your local Coles can be pretty much a daily occurrence. Lots of people do it, especially children. It's like they've got an allergy to shoes or thongs. Just put some thongs on, mate. Protect yourself. Now, for us foreigners who are used to wearing shoes anyway just to keep our toes warm, seeing people go barefoot in public and it's not the beach or a swimming pool can be a little bit weird. But actually, rather than criticising or wondering if they've got asbestos in the soles of their feet, don't criticise. join them. Everyone talks about that feeling where you can spread your toes in the sand and how liberating it can be. Well, just go barefoot in public, mate. You get that feeling all the time. Except when it's the middle of summer and you step on that black tarmac.
I don't know about that. See,
that hurts.
that is what we would call in our neck of the woods country.
Yeah, real country.
I remember moving with my dad's side of the family, and a lot of them would walk outside barefoot. And I'd be looking at y'all like, you're not scared a worm gonna go in your foot?
It was a heat for me.
I couldn't do.
Hop in that grass real quick.
Now, children are the only ones that I support that. And I'm not saying I don't support y'all. Do what y'all want to do. But because children need that sensory.
Oh yeah,
you know?
I feel like.
But,
I feel like.
Me, I'm.
Like, yeah, you gotta go see a child who don't want to touch grass.
Right.
That is funny. I'm talking about feet and all. I'm talking about something like, yeah.
Yes, but even in the airport, when you have to go through the security checks and you have to take off your shoes, baby, look, can I have a sock or something?
I feel like that's just free maintenance. You kicking your feet and you don't got your feet in a shoe all day. You know, some of your toes be like that. Looking like some little duck feet.
Don't talk about the people.
I don't talk about nobody. Look, I'm just saying, like, it's just the reality because, you know, we got certain shoes. I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
Maybe put your thongs on then. Now, if you thought going barefoot in public was rather informal or slightly offensive, then wait until the average Australian speaks to you. Don't get me wrong, most of them are educated, eloquent individuals, but the average Aussie does love a swear. They even do it on the radio. The first time I heard shit on the radio in the morning, I was wondering if my driving was okay or if someone was shouting at me in traffic. No, it was the person on the radio. I've even heard them drop the odd wanker, which can be wholly confusing to some of the people watching this that don't even know what a wanker is. They can say on the radio, yet I'm cursy enough to bleep on my videos. What a beautiful country we live in. Now don't get me wrong, they don't go for the hardcore stuff like f*** or bugger. Wait, bugger isn't really that bad, is it? Oh, I've buggered this up. But most Australians will drop the C-bomb at you as a term of endearment. How's it going? I know that for lots of people when they watch Game of Thrones, dropping the C-bomb was a big taboo. And if you don't like that word, sorry, Australia might not be for you. Because in Australia, lots of people like to swear and everyone's so you better get used to it. I don't think I've ever used that many bleeps in a video before. I really hope I bleeped all of those out. Now the last one is something that's awesome, but also one of my little pet peeves. In Australia, they have some of the best containers for sauce. In those little foldy things that just squeeze out perfectly. What an invention! But in Australia, if you want the privilege of sauce, you have to pay for it. Want some tomato sauce, mate? Yeah, that could be 15 cents, please. Or 30 cents if you want two. Because they're like really small packets. Now don't get me wrong, not everywhere does charge for sauce. Thank the Lord. But lots of places do. And it's pretty common practice. If you're like my wife that just loves to slather everything in tomato ketchup, then not only calling it ketchup is going to be weird in Australia, because it's tomato sauce, as I've been told many times when I get that confusing look asking for ketchup. But like going to America and having to pay for something and then add on the sales tax, if you want sauce, you're going to have to pay a little bit more. But the good thing is we don't have to tip, because everyone gets a fair wage, and Medicare, and gun laws. What a beautiful country Australia is. Now if you're thinking of moving to Australia and you don't want to live in Melbourne or Sydney, and you think that like us, Brisbane could be the place for you, then...
Alright, we're going to end it right there. You know, I'm going to just go ahead and say it. Australia ain't for everybody. Some people are just too sensitive. Yeah. And they will not make it from one conversation or one greeting, because if they're greeting you with a certain language that is a little strong, some people may get offended. I'm just saying, I'll put it out there.
Well,
toughen up.
Australia is similar to our southern culture.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like. So not much of a culture shock.
Australians they're gonna roast you too.
Yeah.
And we seen that in the cars, like they roast you in a heartbeat.
All we need is we just need the guide on what the names mean.
That's it. We can keep up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just give me the play sheet, coach. What's this play mean? Okay, gotcha. I could rock with that.
Yeah, so that's cool. We like Australia. Y'all know that. We hope you guys enjoyed this video with us. Like this video, subscribe, turn on the post notification bell. We have enabled our super thanks if you like to support the channel that way, as well as our reaction request form is in our description box below. We'll see you soon.
Peace.